lots of familiar faces, a few special guests that I want to make sure we acknowledge. Mark Lamping is here, the president of the new Meadowlands Stadium. I guess here to one last push, Mark, to try to get into this 18. The General Secretary, the Deputy General Secretaries of CONCACAF, Elo Zanzi and Ted Howard. A few friends who I've watched games with for 30 years. And then, of course, my very good friend and partner in a lot of what we try to do in American soccer, Don Garber, a commissioner of Major League Soccer and a member of our board. Before we get to the cities, the 18, I thought I'd mention a couple of things about them as a group. First is the sheer magnitude of what we're going to be putting forth today. And by that I mean we're going to announce 18 cities with an average capacity of 78,000 seats, adjusted for World Cup. That would give us over 5 million available tickets. That would be 33% bigger than we had in '94 when there were fewer games. Far bigger than anyone else could hope to get. Magnitude is enormous. Second is the breadth of these 18 cities across the country. All time zones. We'll be in the Southeast, we'll be in the Northwest, we'll be in New England, we'll be in Southern California, we'll be in Texas. Third, tradition along with modernity. We're going to have some stadiums which have been around for many years that have hosted multiple World Cups between the men's and the women's World Cups, hosted Olympic Games, and we're going to have some stadiums that are still putting the final touches on luxury boxes and so on. Fourth, we have cities now that call soccer their home sport. 18 of the cities, 10 host Major League Soccer teams, 5 hosted games in the World Cup. Others hosted games in the Women's World Cup. And lastly, we're not building any new stadiums. In these extraordinary economic times, the ability to announce the 18 venues that we're going to announce and world-class stadiums without need for public funds on infrastructure or on stadiums, I think gives us a great start. So with that, let's move on to the 18 cities. We'll start in the Southeast with Atlanta. Southern Hospitality hosted the '96 Olympic Games, the first one won by our women's national team. Second, we move to the other coast, San Diego. Warm weather year-round, host to multiple CONCACAF Gold Cups and 3 Super Bowls. Phoenix. U.S. beat Mexico there 2-0, which is my fondest memory. Retractable roof, terrific stadium. We go from there to Dallas, where we have 2 stadiums that are part of the bid, the Cotton Bowl and the new Cowboy Stadium, extraordinary youth movement, and in that new stadium, one of the finest in the world. Seattle, perhaps the best start of any professional team coming out of the blocks with this year's performance by the Seattle Sounders, an extraordinary advertisement for Major League Soccer and everything we've been trying to do over the last 15 years. Denver, Mile High, where the U.S. played Mexico in our send-off game in the 2002 World Cup. Tampa hosted multiple U.S. national team games and Super Bowls, gives us 2 venues in Florida. Indianapolis, in the news in the next few days, I guess, as well, home of Lucas Oil Stadium, obviously not a retractable roof. Baltimore, a couple of great games over the summer with Premier League teams, gives us 2 cities in the Maryland, D.C. area. Nashville, which hosted the Olympic qualifying. We played multiple national team games there, and obviously worldwide known as the home of country music. Kansas City. You think of Kansas City and you think of soccer, it's Lamar Hunt and everything he did there, one of the founders of Major League Soccer, Arrowhead Stadium. Houston, Reliance Stadium. U.S. has played multiple games there. Gold Cup has been there, retractable roof, terrific stadium. Miami. In some ways, the first soccer-specific stadium in the country. When Joe Robbie built that stadium, he built it wide enough to host the World Cup in '94. When baseball came in, we weren't able to play there in the summer of '94. Philadelphia gives another venue in the Northeast where the Philadelphia Union kick off in a few days and where the NSCA convention is being held as we speak. Los Angeles, two stadiums, 2 huge stadiums with great tradition, the LA Coliseum and the Rose Bowl, which obviously hosted the Women's World Cup final and the Men's World Cup final. Washington, D.C., home for at least 3 more years, maybe 7, of our #1 supporter, President Obama, where we're at FedEx Field. Boston, the only city in the country that's hosted 3 World Cups, and maybe in the world, I'd have to think about that, with 2 Women's World Cups and the Men's World Cup in '94. And then, Mark, you can breathe a little bit more easily now. The new Giant Stadium across the river, obviously here in New York, a terrific stadium. We've already hosted the president of FIFA at that stadium in this immensely diverse city of New York. Any disappointment about any previous Olympics will end with hopefully a World Cup here. That gives us our 18 venues. We think we've got a great start to go to our bid, and over the next few months we'll talk about a number of other things that will add to that bid. Thank you.